All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah, Shaz, Yasha, Ali, give him the course. All honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, bahasham, Mashak, Amalak, Yahawah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahawah. In the name is only begotten Son, Yahawah. This is Brother Yasha Ali, coming back to you all yet another video through the spirit of power, Yahawah. Bahasham, Mashak, Amalak, Yahawah. All right, Shalom, Shalom to the Torah tribes. So I'm going to get straight into this. All right, I'm going to get straight into this. It's basically going into, are you sure? Are you sure you love the Most High? Are you sure you love God? All right. And I'm mainly talking to Christians. All right. I'm mainly talking to Christians in this video because a lot of Christians like to just boast and just say that they love the Lord. They'll say that with their whole heart. They'll really say that they really love the Lord. But you deceiving yourself for real. Are you sure you really love the Most High? Are you really sure that you love God? Because, brother, where's your works at, man? That's why I'm talking to these Christians for real. I'm really talking to these Christians, so called. Because a real Christian is actually going to be following Christ. 1 Corinthians 11:1 says, be ye therefore followers of me, even as I also am a Mahasiyak Yahawashi. So Paul, he was a true Christian because he actually followed Yahawashi's footsteps. He did as Yahawashi did. And that really goes into keeping the commandments, striving for perfection, doing what the Lord taught him. Right? Now let's go to the book of Matthew. I'm gonna start with the classic, John chapter 14, verse 15. How do you love the Most High? Because a lot of Christians think that loving the Most High is just loving Him. You ask a Christian, how do you love God? They'll say, by loving God. What the hell? What does that mean? How are you supposed to define a word by its own definition, or it's like by its own word? How can I define what love is by saying it's love? That's not a definition, right? Let's go to John 14, verse 15. All right, John 14, verse 15, it says, if ye love me. So this is Christ literally playing this out, right? He's saying it. If you love me, right, do what? Keep my commandments. That's how we show our love for the Most High, right? That's what the Lord said. If you love me, keep my commandments. That's what he said. So you Christians, that say that you love the Most High, are you keeping his commandments, right? Now they'll say, yeah, of course I'm keeping his commandments. I'm loving my neighbor as I love myself, and I'm loving God. That's what they would define as God's commandments. Well, let's go to that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. Let's deal with it. Let's go to Matthew 22 and verse, what's luck? You might be 21, right? But let's go to it real quick, right? Matthew 22 and verse number 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yahawashi said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. So this is the great commandment in the law, according to Yahawashi. It's loving the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. All right? And what? Verse 38, this is the first and great commandment. So according to the words of Yahawashi, that will be the first and great commandment. Loving the Lord our God with our heart, soul, and mind. Right? Verse 39, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So that's the second commandment. Loving your neighbor as you love yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. And this is further expounded upon in the book of Romans. Right? I'm going to get that real quick. Now, what does that mean to love the Most High with all your heart, with all or your soul, with all your heart? Is that a commandment that Yahawashi kind of just made up? Or is that not in the law? Or is that not in the first 5 books of Moses? Is it not written in the book of Deuteronomy that we should do that? So don't act like Yahawashi just came up with that commandment or came up with that law, right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy first. Let's show you in the Old Testament, right? So-called Old Testament, where the Lord said that. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse, right? 5. It says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. So the Lord said, what? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. You see that? That's in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 5. So Yahawashi took that commandment and he said, look, this is the first and greatest commandment. Why is he saying that though? Why is he saying that? because we know that when you love the Lord, you are keeping His commandments. That's the true definition of the commit us like you loving the Lord. Let's go to that. Let's go to 1 John 5:3. It says, "For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandment, and His commandments are not grievous." So we understand that when you love the Most High, you are keeping His commandments by default. That's how I know that somebody loves the Most High, because he's keeping His commandments. He's keeping the Most High's commandments. He's doing as the Lord said. That's how I know that. How do I know that a brother loves the Most High? Right, according to the best what I've known, to what I can see, he's laboring. He's going to camp, possibly. He is studying, right? He's doing everything that the Lord told him to do. How do you show your love for your parents? How do you know that you love your parents? You do as they say. They say clean your room, you go ahead and do that. You know, they say take out the trash, you go ahead and do that. You know, you don't say, well, I'm not doing that. And you can shut up. You don't say that to your parents. If you say that to your parents, you don't love them. Period. You don't love them. So if you're saying, if they tell you to do stuff, you do it. That's how you know that you love your parents, man. You care for them, you provide for them. And that's how you even show your love for your parents, how much more the Most High. Because you can't see the Most High. Don't play yourself. Don't say, oh, I saw the Most High, right? I saw the Most High in my bedroom. The Lord, He can show you visions. He can show you dreams. But we can't see the Most High like how you see man. You can't see the Most High how like you see your ak or your rib or your husband. You can't see the Most High like how you see them and touch. You can touch them. You can conversate with them. You have a full blown conversation. But with the Lord, it's kind of one sided. The Lord can answer you, but maybe not like how you want Him to answer you. You're not going to just sit down and just have a full blown conversation with the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. That may not happen in this life, maybe in the next, but not in this life. So what are we to do, right? How do you love the Most High? You can't send Him a love letter and just throw it up to the heavens and say, there you go. That's how I know that I love the Most High. Or you pick up a rose and you throw it up to the heavens and it comes back down, and just like that's how I show my love for the Most High. Nah, you do as He says. You obey His commandments, right? And the commandments are all throughout the Old and the so-called New Testaments. It's all throughout there. You literally just strive for perfection. You do as the Lord said. That's what the Lord said in John 14, verse 15. If you love me, keep my commandments, right? Because a person that loves the Most High is going to do that. It's going to do just that. Let's go to John, right? Let's go to John chapter 15 and verse 10. It says, if ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in His love. You see that? So the Lord said, if you keep my commandments, you're going to abide in my love. The Most High is going to love you, right? It says what? Even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in His love. That's how we know that the Most High has loved yahawashi, because yahawashi kept all of the commandments of the Father. Let's go to John chapter 14. In verse 23, yahawashi answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words. So the Lord just saying the same thing. He's just saying the same thing. Remember what the apostles taught, they got it from yahawashi. What the apostles taught, they got it from yahawashi. They got it from the Old Testament. So they're not making anything up. All right. They're not just making stuff up. So when it says yahawashi answered and said unto him, if a man love me, so if you claim to love the Most High, He will keep my words. You're going to keep His words. And His words is all throughout this Bible. All right. It's not just in the New Testament. When yahawashi died, now it's just in the New Testament. You don't have to keep any of the words of the Old Testament. No. Because when we go to the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 4, it's what the Lord said about that. All right. Go to Matthew 4 and 4. All right. It says, but He answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. So the Lord said, you're not going to live by bread alone, but by every word. So if you're a Christian watching this, right, or even whatever, right? If you claim to love the Most High, are you living by every word of the mouth of the Most High? Are you living by every word? Not just the New Testament, not just certain of Paul's letters, not just certain scriptures of Yahawashi, but every word, right? I ask myself that too. Am I living by every word? The Lord said to do this in this book. I got to do that, right? The Most High said to abstain from fleshly lusts. I got to do that, right? And that's me showing my love to the Lord through the Spirit, right? That is. Let's go to John 14, verse 23. Yahawashi answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him. You see that? So Yahawashi said undoubtedly that if you keep his commandments, right, where if you love him, you're going to keep his commandments, and Yahawashi will not only love you, but his Father will as well. It says, and my Father will love him, and we will come out unto him and make our abode with him. And the Most High and Yahawashi is going to make their abode with you. In Revelation 3:20, the Lord said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. All right. So that's how you show your love to the Most High. And don't sit up here and say, well, in John 14, verse 18, you're talking about Christ's commandments, which is different than the commandments of God or the law of Moses. They're one and the same, because Christ's commandments, according to Matthew chapter 22, is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul. And in the second, is to love thy neighbor as I love thyself. Where is that at? Those are in the Old Testament. Those are directly straight from the law. Those are not any new commandments, but old commandments, as it states in the book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 6. It said, brethren, I write no new commandment unto you, but an old commandment which you had from the beginning. And it is the word which you have heard from the beginning. And what's that word that we have heard from the beginning? It is law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Hebrews chapter 4, verse Hebrews 4, it's like Hebrews chapter 5, state that the first principles of oracles of God, that's the milk. All right, that's going into the laws. All right, namely the so-called Old Testament. Those are the first principles of the oracles of the Most High. Let's go to the book of First Salakia. I had a precept in mind. All right, I had a precept in mind. Right. Yeah, Christ's commandments is the same, right? Let's go to Romans chapter 13. Right, all praises. Romans 13 verse 8. And let's prove that. Right? Romans 13 verse 8. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. So if you love one another, you're going to fulfill the law. That's how you fulfill this law, right? For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, it's like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So the Lord said, he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. So you have to love one another. And by you loving one another, that's you fulfilling the law, because you are keeping the commandments. That's what that means. Because whenever we get down to the nitty-gritty of how to love somebody, according to the Most High, not according to what you say. Somebody might say, well, this is how I love somebody, because I just love them. Like, I just love them. But what does that mean? That's what you have to get down to. Remember, you have to live according to this book, all right? You can't just make up your own definitions. You can't just make up your own reasonings. The Lord said in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 11, it says, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. So if you say that you love somebody, or that you love the Most High, what does the Most High say about that? What does the Most High define as it? You can't just make up your own definitions if the definition is in here. If the Most High defines it, then we have to do accordingly, right? We have to submit to the Most High's definition. It says, for this thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And so these are the 10 commandments. Then these are what they would say the civil laws, right? This is what they would say the civil laws. It says, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. These laws are in the 10 commandments that was given to Moses, was given to his people in Exodus chapter 20, right? It was literally given to them. But it says what? And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this, namely, in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And where is that found at? Let's go to the book of Leviticus. It's Leviticus chapter 19, right? Leviticus 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him, right? Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So the Lord said, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, now that's in Leviticus chapter 19. That's in Leviticus 19. It's not even in the 10 commandments. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That's not in the 10. But loving your neighbor as you love yourself, the 10 commandments, or those so-called civil laws, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. You fulfill those laws by loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay, meaning that they're the same thing. When you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you're not going to commit adultery with his wife, right? Or against him by laying down with his wife. If you love your neighbor, if you love your brother as you love yourself, you're not going to kill him. You're not going to kill his grandmother. You're not going to kill his wife, or you're not going to kill his children. That's how you show that you love him, because you're not going to do these things, right? If I love somebody, why the hell would I kill his mom? That don't make any sense. Why would I kill his mom, his only mom, right? Or his mom that he loves so dearly and holds dear to himself, and would do anything for, and would die for it. Why would I kill his mom? It doesn't make any sense, right? So that's how you show that you love your neighbor, by keeping the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. When you really study the laws, and that's the problem with a lot of our people and a lot of Christians, man, because they don't study the law. The Lord said, a good understanding have all they that do his commandments, right? In Psalm chapter 111, verse 10. If you want to have a good understanding of the Bible, you got to start with the milk. And that's the laws of the Most High God. 613 commandments. So when you study this law, there's a lot of accounts of how these laws, when you keep these laws, it already shows love for your nation. Now, that's a different topic for a different video. And I might do that video. How that the laws teach love. I'll give one example. Let's look at Exodus. It's Exodus chapter 23, right? Let's go to Exodus 23 and verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox, or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. So if you see one of your own nation, remember, you have enemies of your own nation. So let's go into your own nation, right? If you see an enemy, now he's an Israelite, all right? But he may be your enemy. You don't really like him. Y'all don't get along. The Most High say you don't have to get along with every single Israelite. Just because they're Israelite don't mean that you got to be buddy with them, right? The Lord doesn't require that of us. But the Lord said, if you see your enemy's ox, meaning another Israelite whom y'all had contention against, if you see his ox or his ass going astray, the Lord said, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Don't just let his ox go away. You see that his ox, you bring it back to him, man. That's in the law. If you don't keep that, you going off. According to the Most High. Right? It says, if thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and what is forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. The Lord said, thou shalt surely help your neighbor, man. Thou shalt surely help him. So that teaches love, because if you love your brother, hey, you're going to help him. When time needs it, you're going to help him. You're going to help him, right? So that's how you know that you love the people of the Most High, or your neighbor, right? Let's go to Romans. Let's go back to Romans 13. Right? Let's go back to Romans 13 and verse number 10, right? It says, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. So love is the fulfilling of the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. That's why Paul says that, because when you keep the commandments, it teaches love. It literally teaches love, how to love the Most High, how to love people of the Most High. Let's go to the book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. So that's how we know that we love the children of God, and we love the Most High when we keep his commandments. It's so plain. But people want to twist these scriptures and say that's talking about the laws of Christ. That's talking about this, that, and the third. That's, talking about What are you talking about? The laws of the Most High and the laws of Christ are the same, one and the same, because Christ didn't say anything that the Father would not say. Period. Christ didn't say anything that the Most High God would not say. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 12, and verse 49 to prove that. For I have not spoken of myself. So Yahawashi literally said plain out. And a lot of Christians may not even believe the words of Christ. Literally. Do you really believe the words of Yahawashi? Or do you believe in the dogmatic principles and dogmatic religion and beliefs of so-called white man Christianity? Which one is it? I don't know. Because the words of Christ literally say, for I have not spoken to myself. Meaning, I'm not speaking to myself. The words that I'm bringing to you, my message, it's not of myself. I didn't write this. I didn't, come up with this. That's what the Lord is saying. It says, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment what I should say and what I should speak. So he literally said, hey, guess what? My Father commanded me what I should say and what I should speak. So if Yahawashi said, these are the two great commandments, and upon these two commandments hang all the law, hey, that means that, guess what? The Father agrees to that as well. If Yahawashi said, if you keep my commandments, the Father's going to love you, right? And that's how you love the Most High, because in John 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. That's how you love me, right? The Father would totally agree to that, right? And they speaking the same thing. So again, that's how we love the Most High, all right? That's how we love the Most High. It's not a feeling. The Most High is looking for actions, right? The Most High is looking for actions. I mean, that's what he looks for. When you go to Revelation chapter 22, in verse 12, the Lord said, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. The Lord said, according to his work, all right? So the Most High, he's looking at works. He's looking at your spirit too. Don't get me wrong. He's looking at his spirit. He's looking at everything. But he's also looking at works, because within that category of everything is our works, all right? So he's looking at all of that, all right? He's looking at all of that. But nevertheless, all right, I didn't want this to be too long of a video because it's plain, man. Are you sure you love the Most High? You so-called Christians, right? Are you sure that you love the Most High? Because it really don't sound like it. You going to church, where's that in the Bible? I attend church every Sunday. Where's that? Where did the Lord command us to do that? You have this feeling. Where's that at? The Lord said in Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So you have this feeling that you love the Most High. That doesn't prove anything. Some might say, well, I read the Bible. Well, yeah, okay. That's good. That's good. You read the Bible. But do you do what the Bible says? That's another thing, right? So it's like it's a lot of stipulations, and so we have to be asking ourselves this, and I'm not above a Christian, right? I'm not going to say that, but what I'm saying is, I'm we're us so-called, right? They call us, damn, whatever, but we're Israelites. We're actually trying to come back to and serve the Most High in truth and sincerity, and trying to actually follow what the Bible says by keeping God's commandments. That's how we show that our love for Him, man. All right, because you even have that word agape, right? Agape, the Greek word agape, which means love as an action. Okay, and that's what the Most High is looking for: love as an action, and not necessarily just a feeling. All right, we know that the Most High has feelings for us in terms of His love that He has for us and His compassion that He has upon us. But the thing is, the way we love the Most High is not exactly the same way, right? We show that we love the Most High by our works. You might have an emotional connection with Him and a spiritual connection. I'm not denying that, but at the same time, the Most High wants those that spiritual or that emotional connection to actually be brought to light in this physical type of way by actually keeping the commandments. Because if you have that emotional connection with Him, just like how people say they have a personal relationship with God, or if you have that, you would be doing as He says. The Most High is our master, and we are the servant. That's the type of relationship that we have with the Most High right now, right? And that's a lot of precepts, but just to let me just pull that real quick, right? I got two in my mind real quick. Let's go to the book of Malachi, chapter 1. Malachi chapter 1, verse 6. A son honoreth his father, and a servant his master. If I then be a father, what is mine honor? And if I be a master, where is my fear? Saith the Lord of hosts, unto you, O priests, that despise my name. And you say, wherein have we despised thy name? So, and that's another point too. How did the priests despise the Lord's name? Were they saying, man, because not the name of the Lord? Were they doing that? Or were they despising the name of the Lord by their actions? So, we have to ask ourselves a question. If you can despise the name of the Lord by your actions, how do you love the name of the Lord? By your actions as well. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I don't understand why Christians are always getting this loophole. And well, I do understand it, but at the same time, on this, I'm just looking at it in this totality, right? Loving the Most High is clearly keeping His commandments, all right? And that's how you show it, all right? That's how you show it. So with that, all praises to the Most High God, Yahawah, bahasham, yahawashi, the wonder for tuning in. Hey, Kwam Yasha Allah, are you sure you love the Most High God? Right, and I ask that even to myself as well, right? Because we have to have those works to show it, right? So all praise to Yahweh, Kwam Yasha Allah, Shalom.